Welcome. What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for listening. This is the Just Bleed Radio preview show for UFC 308 Abu Dhabi Topuria versus Holloway. That means today we'll be getting stuck into all things regarding this card, including some legally binding predictions. And if I'm feeling froggy, maybe I'll even give a best bet or lock of the night. Anyways, big time card, so we got a big time show. That means I'm not alone for this effort. Allow me to introduce my preview show partners. Two men who need little introduction, born and bred in different parts of the world, but brought together by blood sports. Your boys and mine, Dangermouse and No Special. What's up, dudes? What's going on?
Yeah, man.
What up?
All right, and as always, the men on the ones and twos, Midwest Blessed, Chatri, Dave, and Steven. As for me, I'm Lazybed, and that's enough with the introductions. Let's get into some fight talk. Boys, I am entirely fired the fuck up for this event. One of my most anticipated cards of the year. Let's fucking go. Tell me you guys are as jacked as I am for UFC 308.
Yeah, this is a hell of a card. You know, you can just the main event is amazing. Co-main's fantastic. Really, the entire main card is pretty decent throughout. And I'm sure I haven't really investigated too far, but I'm sure there'll be a couple of decent ones in the prelims as well. Jeff Neal down there.
Robert Whitaker fight week, Max Holloway fight week. On their own, they are great. Together, it is even better. Gymnastics score is possibly 10 out of 10. We could get there. If I wasn't rock hard with emotions, I don't know what is what can what can.
God. And also, I think it's going to be a daytime card, so that's even better for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude! I am hyped, and I am looking forward to this one, big time. All right, so let's fucking do this shit, guys. Let's kick things off with the main card opener, the return of undefeated Russian social media influencer and part-time fighter Shara Bullet Magomedov in a middleweight bout against Russian Armenian Tim Kennedy lookalike Armen Petrosyan. The one-eyed wonder, Shara Bullet, last competed back in August against Michal Oleksiejczuk, where he secured a decisive UD. He now returns to another Middle East card, the only commissions that will sanction him to take on Petrosyan, who's 3-2 in his last 5, having most recently subbed Adolfo Vieira in February. Now, Petrosyan is 8-2. That's 3 wins and 2 losses in the UFC. He's got 5 KO TKOs, but the finishes haven't translated to the big show, with only one of those coming against UFC competition. Magomedov is 3-0 in the UFC and has a career finish rate of 79%. So that's pretty fucking impressive. But like Petrosyan, only one of those finishes has been in the big show, where he finished Antonio Ciccoli in his promotional debut. Now, we discussed the ongoing issue of travel and bookings for Shara Bullet the last time he fought, going as far as to predict that the next time we saw him would be this very Abu Dhabi event. So those predictions rang true, guys, because here we are at 308 and he's back again. So my question for you, who takes this one and how do they get it done? No Special, let's hear from you first. Give us a little breakdown and then tell us who you think wins, including a round and method of victory if you feel up to it.
Okay, well, this one's a tough one to kind of figure out because both men are stand-up artists. Because if you look at Petrosyan, he's a workman like a striker who doesn't push the pace crazy, but he's very consistent with his striking. His striking game is not one that you can easily take for granted, and he's the guy that is genuinely, not one to look for finishes on a regular occasion. He's more, I will do what I need to win, even if it's a close competitive fight. He's defensive defensively capable with grappling. His defense and striking isn't too bad, but he's the guy who's going to stay on the outside and pick you apart. He's very capable, very hard to put away. On the opposite end, Magomedov Sharabullet is defensively, he lacks. His whole aspect is my defense is my offense, right? If I'm throwing at you, you're not going to really throw back at me if I'm constantly landing up
Yeah.
because you're going to miss if I hit you. That being said, his weakest point is his grappling, which is interesting because he's a, you know, of the Magomedov name, you would think at least a couple of them would, he probably has a decent amount of grappling, but the problem is that he hasn't been really tested in the grappling aspect by a high level grappler. So if I'm going to pick a winner here, I'm going to lean towards Petrosian because he's fought the harder opponents and he's gone the distance more often with those opponents, whereas Bullet has not and shows a lot more holes in his game than Petrosian does. So if I'm picking a striker, I'm going to go with the striker that's gone against the higher competition, and I'm going to say it's a decision, very competitive decision.
Not bad, not bad. Am I the only one that thinks that Petrosian looks a little bit like Tim Kennedy? Like, like, is that just me?
You said it, and I didn't think of it until you said it. Now I can't get that picture out of my head.
Yeah, I was looking at his picture on, I think it was Tapology, and I was like, dude, that looks just like fucking Tim Kennedy. That's crazy. All right, not to get off track there. DM, what do you think? How does this one play out, and who is your selection?
Well, I think as Austin has kind of hinted to that, I think there's going to be mostly a stand-up battle. We have Muay Thai and kickboxing from Petrosian, and we all know Shara prefers to stand and bang somewhat. I can't see that. I guess Petrosian could try for the wrestling moves, but I think it's going to be a stand-up battle. They're going to do the man dance. Obviously, Petrosian's going to try and exploit the Bullet's blind side, and it's very possibly he might do that. But I think this one's going to go to a decision for the Bullet. I don't think it's going to be the greatest fight of the night, and there is a touch of remember where this fight is being judged. So yeah, I'm going with the Bullet.
That's true. That's a good point. Good thing to consider. Okay, and this episode's going to be a little bit different because we're going to round this thing out and we're going to go to our producers, Dave and Chatri Bone. Who do you guys got winning this one, and how did they get it done?
Sharaputin Magomedov versus Petrosian is a battle of two terrible fighters. Sharaputin is the less terrible fighter with the better Muay Thai, and he's going to win a decision using his Muay Thai.
Well, it seems reasonable enough to me. Okay, that's just me left on here. I'll be bold and I'm gonna be real on this one. I don't think either one of these dudes is that good. I'm in agreement with Dave here. Petrosian is what I'd like to call a stifler. He's got like just enough skills to stifle the momentum of guys that are worse than him. He doesn't really have what it takes to do anything above that. He's not super well-rounded or even great in one single area. Pretty good on the feet, but he hasn't realized much of that success against UFC level talent, like I was saying before. He does struggle with grapplers, but luckily for him, Shara is not that. He's not a grappler. Speaking of Shara, he's not that amazing himself. He's a solid stand-up guy, got good skills on the feet, but as I pointed out on the roundup after his last fight, I feel like he kind of lacks pop. Like his strikes are clean and he's got good speed and stuff, but he doesn't really have a lot of power. And as someone who's basically solely reliant on striking, that could catch up to him, and that this fight could be the fight where that ultimately does catch up. But I think that Petrosian probably plays the stand and bang game a little bit too much, and that's going to benefit Shara here. So I'm going to go with Bullet Magomedov as well, and I'm probably going to say a decision. That seems most likely. Maybe a split decision. That's my take.
God damn it. I'm the only one that's on Petrosian.
trade. So
I was shocked. I was shocked how little fights he has. Only 8-2.
Yes, he's limited in the amount of fights. I think he just went from kickboxing over to here to MMA.
Yeah. I mean, just now breaking the 10 fight mark. That's kind of crazy. All right,
Yeah.
next up. Next up, we're going to go from the middleweight division to the light heavyweight division, where a couple of 32-year-old numbskulls intend to slug it out for top 5 divisional standings. Number 1 contender, and the man some believe should have been in Khalil Roundtree's place a few weeks ago, Magomed Ankalaev, brings his chin strap and Dagestani handcuffs to Abu Dhabi to take on number 5 divisional staple, Austria's Alexander Rakic. The Austrian has a career record of 14-4, that's 6-3 in the UFC, after dropping 1 via TKO to Yuri Prochazka back at UFC 300. Ankalaev currently sits at 19-1-1 all time. That's 10 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, and actually 1 no contest. Shout out to Johnny Walker. Anyway, Magomed, another one of these Russians who seems to only want to or be willing to fight in the Middle East. So here we find ourselves again. Both these fellas are 32 years old, relatively similar height, with a slight 3-inch reach advantage going the way of Ankh, even nearly identical amounts and methods of finishes. All in all, one might say a pretty close matchup on paper, but come October 26th, we'll find out for ourselves. Obviously, major repercussions in the light heavyweight title picture with this one. As we know, it's a division where 1 or 2 impressive wins can easily catapult you to a championship fight. For someone like Ankh, who appears deserving of his shot, but is not a favorite of the matchmakers, this could be a real make-or-break moment. Let's get into these predictions, though. We'll kick it over to the production team first. Dave and Chatri, who do you see winning this scrap, and how do they get it done?
I see Ankalaev winning a pretty obvious decision. Rakic, I always thought he was pretty decent, but he didn't fight in 2023. This is his first fight in 2024. In 2022 and 2021, he only had 1 fight each year. That was KO losses, and Ankalaev's a really good fighter. So I just expect Ankalaev to do Ankalaev things, except maybe not rely on the wrestling so much and get a decision win with the striking.
Yeah, I think that seems pretty logical as well. Very interesting. So, Dangermouse, let's hear your casually countly take on this fight. Winner and method of victory, sir?
Yeah, I think this one's probably going to go to Ankalaev. He's in that kind of forward motion, if you like, where he's not going to be stopped. I think he's going to get that crack at Alex eventually, once Alex has quite rightfully rested. Looking at these fights, they share one opponent, and that's Jan Blachowicz. And Rakic lost to him, of course, and Magomedov drew with him, which is marginally better, but nonetheless it's not a loss. So yeah, I think this is going to be another stand-up battle. I don't think we'll see much grappling here. Everyone seems to think that Ankalaev is this amazing grappler, when in fact the only thing to do with wrestling is a submission, which he lost to Paul Craig, of course, in like the last second of the fight or whatever it was. So yeah, it's going to be a stand-up fight. Ankalaev, when he does fight Poatan, is probably going to try and stand with him. So I think we're going to see. I'm going to hedge this one a bit. I will say a 2nd round knockout for Ankalaev.
I kind of like that. Spice it up a little bit. It's definitely possible. I mean, he does have a preference to stand and bang as much as everyone thinks of him as a wrestler. That's a good point. Okay, let's shake the order up a little bit. I'll jump in here. I got to be careful what I say for this one, guys, because Joseph Boza might be listening, and he could come for all of our heads if we shit on Ankalaev. So let's mind our P's and Q's for Mr. Boza. This is a tough one, though, because I really like Rakic, and I really dislike Ankalaev. Like, so I'm split. I, I feel like Ankalaev has entitlement issues, and he's got a bad attitude, and he bores me. I I don't know. I feel like behind the scenes he's probably even a total pain in the ass for the matchmakers. Like he just I don't like his attitude. I don't like the way he comes across. He has this air of arrogance about him, and that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Fight wise, though, I kind of liked what Dave brought up about the inactivity of Rakic, because he's a big tough bastard, but I get the vibe that Rakic has shown some durability issues, and that kind of shows with the inactivity because a lot of that was injury layoffs. It worries me that he's going to have some kind of freak accident during like a weird exchange during the fight and fucking blow a knee out or twist an ankle or something strange like that. Like it's always a possibility in his fights. Uh, Pains me to say it, but I think I'm going to go with Ankalaev too. I'm going to say majority decision because that's just seems to be most likely, unless something fluky does or happen, something bizarre. And that leaves you, Austin, to be the only man to possibly go against the Russian. Uh, you're going to get the last word here.
Quick
Ankalaev or
question
Rakic?
before you do. Are the 12-6 elbows in at that point?
No,
Okay.
not until November, and then it's going to be commission based. So
Okay.
yeah, so Austin, Ankalaev or Rakic, who takes it, and how do they get it done?
I I don't know. This is an interesting one because Rakic's last fight was against Jerry Prochaska, in which, if I remember correctly, he was technically winning. He was the superior technical striker. He was literally landing anything and almost everything that he threw, and it didn't matter. He just Jerry willed himself to win that fight despite being constantly clipped. And when we look at that fight, it's a great metaphor for his career. He's capable, but he just won't win the fights that he needs to. And even like when he fought Jan Blachowicz, he got injured in that fight. He literally, I think he tore his knee, I think, and it was a
Mhm.
fight where it wasn't even super competitive because it had just started. Um, Ankle Life is the guy who will, you know, he will break his nose off to spite his face. I may have messed up that metaphor, but he is his own worst enemy. Like the Paul Craig fight, he just was winning every single second of that fight until the last one, the literal last second. Gets caught in the triangle. Was literally winning against Blachowicz and did not only he waited until the end of the fight to actually get going. You know, could have won any of the first three rounds handily, but he allowed the last two to kind of be the only ones that he handily won. He the no contest was his own doing, and he knows why he did it. You know, despite what most people think, I kind of like an asshole that wants to go out there and knows what he's worth. Sometimes the UFC tells you what you're worth, and it's not always the case. As John Jones, I'm looking at you. um, I got to pick Clive here. I have to because he's going to win despite having things against him. He's going to win despite having to have this fight instead of being into the title fight. He's just he's more active with the top 10 fighters that he's facing. I mean, active is a ridiculous term, but still, I don't foresee Ankalaev having too much trouble with Rakic. Um, that's just it. I don't. There's not much technical breakdown here. He's going to be facing a better striker in Rakic, but Rakic is going to fight away somehow, unless he catches him early. In which case, stranger things have happened. Either Rakic wins early or Ankalaev takes a decision.
Yeah, I see that too. I mean, it's definitely possible that Rakic could get it done, but it just seems like Ankalaev's just kind of on that trajectory towards the title shot and towards the fight with Alex, which you know I think it is going to be a fun fight when it does come around. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting. You never know what's going to happen with these big guys, so We'll see come fight night. All right, that is 2 fights down and 3 more to go, which means we're on to our feature bout of the evening, and this is where the night really ought to start getting interesting. The undefeated number 12 featherweight in the world, born and fighting out of Manchester, Lancashire, England. Hope I said that right. Lerone the Miracle Murphy steps into the cage to face Hawaiian-born Extreme Couture product 50K Dan Ige. Now, despite the 18-8 career record, the 33-year-old Ige remains a threat in the top 15 and 145, having put together 11 finishes over his time in the fight game. Murphy, who is also 33, might have a style that leans slightly more towards stand-up battles, but he's also dangerous wherever the fight takes place, holding a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, the last time we saw Ige was his now infamous 4-hour fill-in job when he saved the day and took on Diego Lopez back at UFC 303. Following that commendable loss, he was scheduled to face both Joe Anderson Brito and Chepe Mariscal, but those bouts fell through. For Murphy, he last popped up on our radar when he earned a decisive 5-round decision win against Edson Barbosa in May, a battle that earned both men Fight of the Night honors. This Saturday, the two will clash in Abu Dhabi with the world watching. So, how do you gents see this one unfolding? I'll go first here. Major banger alert for this one, guys. Possibly a scrap that could steal a bonus. I love me some Danny Ige. He's a guy that's been around a while that I never had much feeling for one way or the other, but in recent fights, I've grown an affinity for him, to say the least. Tough dude, tough dude. Hawaiian roots, as I said before, those dudes always come to scrap. Great camp behind him. Yeah, just obviously coming in with an awesome corner, so he should have a really good game plan. Packs hammers in his gloves, so anytime you try to predict a 50K fight, you have to account for that. Lerone Murphy, though, is just proven to be on a different level compared to a lot of guys in the division. Incredible striking, strong anti-grappling, and he's built like a fucking tank. Maybe showed a tiny bit of cardio concerns against Edson last time out, and he is rather inconsistent with activity, but that's nitpicking. I think Murphy is surging right now. I think he's hitting his peak potential here soon, and I kind of feel like this is a bad matchup for Dan, really. I might eat my words because Dan's never been stopped, but I really feel like Lerone gets him out of there. I'm going to go Murphy by second round TKO. And that is an official, legally binding pick. Lerone Murphy, second round TKO. So let's shift it over to you, Austin. A couple of fun featherweights going at it in this one. Who do you got walking out victorious this weekend?
Interesting, because the way I look at it is Lerone is kind of where Arnold Allen was a few years ago, right? Only fighting once a year, maybe twice if you were lucky, struggling with injuries and fighting decent competition, but not competition that was going to get him closer to the title. Just kind of, hey, when you got to fight, I'm available. And if not, don't bother me. Leron's probably in the same situation where, unless it's here in the UK or close to where it's a main event or a fight that's going to get me close to the title, don't bother me. Just looking at both of their resumes, obviously one of them has faced more top 10 talent, top 15, Ige, but he's traded wins and losses. He's the guy who's what you would consider a gatekeeper. That's not a bad thing, but he's not the guy that's going to be challenging for the title, unless he gets a couple of wins together or takes a 4-hour notice, title shot. Lerone looks like the real deal. Unfortunately, his fight with Edson looked like it might have been one where he might have bitten off a little more than he could chew. Thankfully, he got the win, and it was a hard-fought decision. We've seen Edson kind of push, guys back before and, show he's still capable. I'm going to take Lerone Murphy. He's got, the capability to put a lot of people away. He's also a very crafty fighter himself. Doesn't take a whole lot of chances, and when he does, he makes sure he puts people, on the back foot and takes the fight from them. Ige is more than capable of winning this fight. I don't believe he's capable of beating Laurent Murphy on this coming weekend because he's a guy who can beat everybody. He's not a guy who's going to beat the top 10 on a regular basis, and I believe Laurent Murphy is top 10. I'm gonna take Laurent Murphy by a decision.
I think that's a good pick. I think that's a safe pick. I mean, Murphy can crack, man. 7 career wins by knockout, so definitely can slang a bang. That Barboza fight, it was a good competitive fight, but I liked what I saw from him in that one. He proved a lot to me that night. Okay, yeah. Dave, Chatri, Steven, who do you guys got, and how do they do it in this one?
We have Dan Ige by his power and experience, and he'll get a decision win. Yeah, that's it. That's what's going to happen.
Short and sweet.
Hey, sometimes that's the best way to do it. And that's probably if you're a betting person, that's not a bad bet to place because I'm sure Ige is going to come in as at least a slight underdog in this one. So could be some plus money on the Ige side if you want to place a wager. All right, Dangermouse, you might be familiar with the hometown of one Laurent Murphy. That's a possibility. I'm not sure. Either way, that leaves you to round us out here. Who takes home the W in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah. Well, I've certainly driven through Manchester quite a few times and survived every trip, so it's not all that bad. They are all from wrong side at Pennines. That's what this is why they're all so hard, because the wind just hits them all year long, which in Yorkshire we thank them for because they get it instead of us. But yeah, this kid is tough. I mean, genuinely tough. I was reading up on him because, as we all know, the lighter weights are not really my forte. So, and I found out that he was shot 3 times, and he still has a piece of one of the bullets in his tongue. So, Sharabutin, eat your heart out, son. There's the real ball. Yeah, this is a tough one. I think Lerone will get the win. Ige is very, very tough to stop, as Lazy said. He's never been stopped. So I think I will go by decision more than likely. But yeah, so that's it for me. Never beaten. And my advice to anyone is never not bet on someone who has never lost a fight. I know it all went awry with Tyra last week, or the other week. But yeah, generally people like to keep that O. So yeah, Laurent Murphy.
All right, guys, the fights keep coming, and so do the predictions because we're rolling right into our co-main event of the evening, day, afternoon, whatever the fuck it is, we're in whatever part of the world you're in. What a fight it is. God willing, if we've all been good boys and good girls this year, this thing is actually going to happen. Number 12 versus number 3 in the middleweight division. Holy hell, this is a fucking banger. 13-0, undefeated, rat-lipped bastard Hamzat Borz will attempt to complete a weight cut and take on 26-7 veteran, former tough winner, former UFC champion, all-around sick cunt, the Reaper, Robert John Whitaker. Everything on the line in this one, with the winner almost goddamn guaranteed a title fight opportunity. I can't believe we're here. These last 2 fights, man. Sheesh. A little bit of background info. Whitaker coming in on a 2-fight streak, having defeated both Paulo Costa and Ikram Aliskerov in recent months. Chimaev, who hasn't competed in a year, last fought Noni's Kamaru Usman to a somewhat controversial majority decision, where it looked like he was extremely thankful it was only a 3-round fight. The two now meet at 308 after being paired for a second time. And fingers crossed, this one stays together. Now, boys, it's breakdown and prediction time. I hope we're all ready. We'll save the biggest Bobby Knuckles fan for last. Let's go to DM first on this one. Danger, does the Reaper cite himself a canine, or does the Chechen wolf chase off death? Who do you got, and how do you got him?
Oh God, this is the worst fight on the card for me to pick. Obviously, it's the amazing fight. I did actually listen back to a little bit of the video I did earlier this year, and I was worried about Hamzat in that, how he was going to fare, and he hasn't really fought a great deal since, I think once since I produced that video. I can. This is another one a little bit last night's main event. If it goes in, 2 rounds, maybe 2.5, Hamzat can get this closed off very quickly. And after it goes after that, it slips ever closer to Whittaker, reaping him, taking his soul, or however the hell he wins it, even if it just happens to be a decision. But I don't think Hamzat's the kind of guy who's just going to lose to a decision at the moment. I really hate having to pick this one. Robert Whittaker is just one of my all-time favorite fighters, but I've kind of been on the Hamzat hype train as well since he hit the Saudi shores. So difficult. I could just flip a goddamn coin for this one. I think just because I might be the only one of us to do it, I will go for Hamzat Chimaev to win by submission. Probably round 1, maybe round 2. You can spread that out across there. But I will not be upset in the slightest if Robert Whittaker takes him into deep waters and either finishes him or just takes him to a decision. So yeah, I will go with Hamzat for this one. At the risk of offending Austin, I'm putting my running shoes on right now.
I was gonna say, at least in your defense, with that logic, is saying, because you'll probably be the only one not to, etc., etc. I mean, it kind of makes sense because I do think we got a bit of a Whittaker bias on this podcast.
Well, it's not a main event, so I can take a risk on it because the Survivors League doesn't count on it.
Oh yeah, good point. All right, let's go to Dave and Dog here. Where does your predictions lie in this one?
I'm gonna go with Robert Whittaker for a round 2 TKO. It could happen in late round 1, but officially I'll go with Whittaker round 2 TKO.
I like that. I like that choice. I know my boy Austin is likely to go long next, so I won't yammer on too much here. Oh man, gas tanks. That's what this is about. Can Whittaker weather that early storm from Chimaev and come out the other side? Because if so, it's a bad night for Boris. It's a bad night. However, if Hamzat can get his hands on Rob and he can drag this thing to the mat, we could be looking at some very sweaty moments, literally and figuratively. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Don't think it's going to happen. I was leaning Rob when these two were set to face off the first time, and after seeing what he did to Alaskarov on short notice, I feel even better about it. I think that Rob gasses Hamzat, and I think he actually pulls off a highlight reel moment. I think he's going to knock Hamzat out. I'll go with the third round to be different. So yeah, maybe a little of that 1-2 high kick classic Reaper combo. Come over the top with that fucking roundhouse and knock out fucking Boers. I think it could happen. We'll see though.
Can I just very quickly jump in here?
Yeah,
someone was, I forget who it was now, was discussing with me the fact that Hamzat had gone downhill since he'd had the COVID jab. So I wasn't entirely sure on that. So I did a bit of research today, and Hamzat got ill with COVID December the 20th, and the COVID vaccine was released in the UK on the 21st of December, and we were the first country to do so at any large scale. So unless he was getting some backhanded through the Saudis or the Chechens or whoever the hell, COVID, it wasn't the jab that affected Hamzat. There we go.
That's some fucking inside scoop right there. Some beat reporting there from Dangermouse. All right, yeah, let's give it to the last man to go. JBR's resident Whittaker enjoyer. No special. Give us your thoughts on how this one goes down.
Shields up.
All right. First off, fuck you, Mouse, for choosing against my boy Robert Whitaker. You've done this to him now twice, and I will not forget this. As far as Whitaker, it is Whitaker by whatever he chooses. Whitaker will get him in the first round because fucking Chimaev is a goddamn fraud. You know why I know he's a goddamn fraud? He doesn't fight very often. And pull out of his last fucking fight. You know why? Because he's a fucking idiot. God forbid that he actually shows up and fight the actual number one contender in this fucking division, other than whoever happens to be in the next time. It's not Sean Strickland either. Fuck you, Sean Strickland. Robert Whitaker is the man. He's always going to be the champion of my heart and champion of my viewing next to Max Holloway. Robert Whitaker's going to knock him the fuck out. He's going to meet him full force. They're going to meet. It's going to be a recreation of when he fought Derek Brunson back in the day. If you remember that fight, Derek Brunson came at him hard, came at him swinging, took him down, and then got his ass knocked the fuck out. Robert Whitaker will do the same to Khamzat Chimaev because he's pretty much very limited on what he does. He is only going to be aggressive as long as he can get the takedown. The minute he thinks he's going to get the takedown, he's going to gas himself out. And you know what's going to happen? Robert Whitaker is going to pop him in the face, kick him with the head, short little head kick, and then uppercut his fucking face. So much for Khamzat Chimaev, the next fucking wannabe wonder of the fucking middleweight division. Fuck you. Thank you.
Hit the horns, baby. Hit the horns. Christ. Hey, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at the passion. I think that's a sound analysis and a sound take.
I quite agree.
I'm very passionate about Robert Whitaker. Okay, I will be just as passionate in the next match.
Okay, well, I'm actually gonna do before we get into this last fight today. I'm gonna do something a little bit different, real quick, and I'm going to give the people my best bet of the card. Keep in mind, I'm not a MMA handicapper, and I am in no way a professional. This is just some fucking casual ass analysis. For this best bet, we're gonna go to the prelims, where Brazil's Bruno the Hulk Ferreira takes on Russian-German Abus Magomedov. Now, I'm not sure what the odds will be when this airs, but as of now, I'm seeing Ferreira as a plus 125 underdog. And to me, that screams free money, baby. The Hulk lives up to his nickname, and he's an absolute monster that looks to get his opponents out of there early. Every single one of his 12 career wins has come by finish, including 9 by knockout. Abus has been finished 4 times, including a TKO loss to fucking Sean Strickland, and he just does not deal with pressure very well. So I say you pound that Bruno Ferreira line, and I like him by knockout early, so maybe bet that or take the under, whichever you prefer there, whichever's better odds. That's my best bet for UFC 308. Anybody else got one?
No, I don't really do much on betting. Certainly no underdogs that I could say for. Sure things, maybe. I guess Jeff Neal would be a fairly solid bet, and Magomed Ankalaev, I think, would be a pretty solid one. You won't make much money, but you probably won't lose much either.
Good shouts. Austin, you got anything? Any lock of the night?
The under 2.5 for Robert Whitaker Chimaev, maybe. If not, if you're feeling spicy, if you're playing the safe game, Leroy Murphy via decision, Ankalaev via decision, I would think would be two ones that you can have. If you're feeling extra spicy, you take Max Holloway at the under, over. I would say the finish late for Max. If you're feeling extra spicy.
I like that as well. And that leaves just Dave, the only one I hear that actually gambles out of the 4 of us. Dave, you got any kind of lock of the night or anything you're looking at?
No. I'm gonna bet combinations of everything to guarantee money.
There you go. Well, maybe when you do the edit of this, maybe you put together a Super Dave parlay or something like that.
No, thank you.
That's all I don't want to. No trade secrets.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be responsible for anyone else losing their money if it happens to go bad. I get that.
All right, well, I tried, bleeders. I tried. Okay, here we are then, guys. Holy fucking shit. We are at our destination for the evening. The main event of main events. One of the most anticipated bouts of 2024. Maybe one of the most anticipated bouts in the first half of this decade. Uh, 5 minute rounds in the men's 145-pound division with the featherweight title teetering in the balance. 27-year-old undefeated reigning champion Ilya El Matador Topuria looks to defend his belt against former champ, future Hall of Famer, and daddest man on the planet, Max Blessed Holloway. A lot of words, a lot of bad blood. The big gold belt and bragging rights on the line, and the stakes don't get much higher. Quick glance at the numbers. Topuria is 5'7" with a 69-inch reach, 5 KOs, 8 submissions in his 15 professional MMA bouts. He has only gone past the second round twice. And it could be a double-edged sword. The 32-year-old Max Holloway is 5'11", also with a 69-inch reach, 14 wins by finish, 11 career performance bonuses in the UFC, and he has seen championship rounds 10 times. You guys know me, and you know my bias towards Max. I could wax poetic for 30 minutes here, so I'm going to cut myself short to get you fellas in there. I mean, this is one of the best fights of all time coming in. Maybe I'm hyping up, and maybe it's hyperbole, but I really feel like this could potentially be one of the best fights of all time. Mouse, tell the bleeders how you feel about this fight and give us your winner.
That's good. I might need a head start. Yeah, this is obviously an amazing fight. I don't think that there's anyone on the planet that doesn't want to see this, that follows MMA, obviously. I was kind of reluctant to see Max against Gaethje, but he came out with that last second knockout. One of the fights of the year, if not the fight of the year, probably knockout of the year. Amazing guy. I've been a fan of Holloway virtually since I started watching the UFC. He was one of the first guys I constantly recognized. Kind of him and Nick Diaz. They were my, I won't say loves, but you know what I mean. Then we have Ilya Topuria, the young pretender who actually managed to put to sleep the man who Max could do nothing against. Unless I know there's one of the fights that's kind of picked over and given to Max by a lot of people, but the paper says he lost it, so we'll just end that discussion there. Topuria super cocky, just as he was with Alex Volkanovski. So I'm actually going to, like I said, I think I'll be alone again on this one, but I'm going to take Topuria for this one. And dare I say that he gets it done by TKO? Can Max's chin be broken? It's pretty much the toughest chin in the game, but every boulder has to crack eventually. I'm going to go Topuria by TKO under 2.5 minutes. Sorry, under 2.5 rounds.
I'm gonna pick my jaw up off the floor, brother. God, I mean, it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. You made some good points there, and God, if anyone could do it, I mean, I guess it's Ilya. I thought going into the Justin fight, if anyone could do it, it was going to be him. And Max proved a lot of people wrong there. Yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll see, Mr. Mouse. I guess we will see.
Well, every show needs a heel and a baby face, so guess where I am.
At least to keep things interesting, I can't blame you. I can't blame you. Shake up the picks a little bit. All right, let's go to Dave and Chatri for their final pick of the show. Who do you two have taking the main event of UFC 308?
We're gonna go with Max Holloway. Probably round 2 TKO. I think, or we think that Max has fought plenty of powerful hitters before, maybe even more powerful than Ilya. Maybe not having the power and speed, but definitely the power. I don't think it's anything too new. And unlike everyone else, I wasn't extremely impressed with Ilya in the Volkanovski fight. It was a nice KO, but I thought Volkanovski made a lot of mistakes. So, yeah, Max is going to show us that he is him, and Ilya is not him. And
all I gotta say, I'm him. I'm him, guys. Guys, there's an El Matador. He is running away from Abu at 145. Tell him sign the gun contract. Spain, Hawaii, wherever, or even Islam.
round 3, I think it's round 3 TKO, Max Holloway.
I like that. Some bold predictions so far. A couple of finishes predicted by the boys here.
Again, as I think I did last time we did one of these, I'm very tempted to say Ilya by submission because his ground game is excellent, and he was talking about it as well.
Yep, yeah, he is indeed a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So split my bet in two.
Oh, that's official now. You want to just split it in two there?
TKO, or submission, one or the other.
Within 2.5?
Yeah.
All right. So that is official. That is now legally binding, like it or not.
Legally binding.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that is what I would say is a solid pick, Dave. No bones about it, huh, Chatri? Huh? I had to get a dad joke in. Okay, Austin. You're up to the plate here. When push comes to shove, rather, Saturday in Abu Dhabi, who walks out as the featherweight king, and how do they do it?
Styles make fights. And maybe Max could not have ever found a way to definitively beat Volk. And let's say this: there are many times where one fighter cannot beat another fighter, and a new fighter comes in and shows us that fighter can be beat, and then the fighter who was kind of left out in the cold comes in and takes out that fighter. We've seen that play out before. We've seen that happen. Max's 3 losses to Volk. It is what it is. You can argue the second one, but like Mouse says, it's officially a loss. That being said, Max basically rejuvenated his career with two wins, one against Arnold Allen, one against the Korean Zombie at featherweight, and then gets an opportunity to become the number 1 contender at lightweight with a vicious KO over Justin Gaethje in a very dominant performance over one of its top contenders. What does he do? He says, no, I have to go back to featherweight to kill the Spanish Georgian kid. I have to beat him because he's calling me out.
That's what I was going to interject with.
Yes.
Max cutting weight back down again. So.
Yes. Mind you, he's not bad at featherweight. I think he's possibly better at lightweight, but here's the thing. He just could not be however you saw that third fight with Max and Volk. This is a different version of Max. This is a rejuvenated Max. This is a Max who is, yes, he has taken tons of damage over his career. He has looked lackadaisical, and there were health concerns with him prior to this fight, even before any of his Volk fights. This is a version of Max that basically said, I'm giving it all regardless. This is a Max that you can bet on, and you can definitely bet that he's not going to get knocked out by Ilya Topuria. Matter of fact, like Dave said, I would favor him in defeating Ilya Topuria just like he defeated Jose Aldo twice in the 3rd round. He might take a couple of big shots. He might get stunned here and there. He'll figure it out. It's not like Ilya's unbeatable. It's not like Ilya's this Terminator. All of a sudden, everyone wants to say, like Luke Thomas is, oh, he's got the best boxing in featherweight. He's the best striker in the lower weight classes. All right, dude. Maybe get off the Spaniards' nuts for a minute. But the truth of the matter is, Ilya's good, but he's not that good. He's capable, and if we've seen the fight I would pick from that would give me pause in Ilya is the one he took up at lightweight with Jai Herbert, and Jai Herbert clipped him early. That's because Jai Herbert's also chinny. He was able to get knocked out immediately after. But that combination of tall, lanky striker that was able to fight from the outside and also push a pace on him, that type of striker is what struggles. It gives Ilia Topuria struggles. He's capable on the ground, like Mouse was saying, but he's not willing. He's not going to be able to take Max down repeatedly. That's just not going to happen. He only has one big ass right hand, or I guess a big ass hand. He's not going to be able to catch him constantly. Max is going to land often. Max is going to make him make mistakes. Max is going to make him miss. And when he misses, Max is going to open him up like a fucking can of worms. And guess what? Max is going to finish him. 3rd round TKO. Max is my pick.
Okay, now I'm going to react to it. Woo! Yeah, I like that breakdown, Austin. I like that fucking breakdown, brother. Oh, you got
Austin
me fired
supporting
up.
Max was the one sure bet you could have made.
Yes, and me as well. I mean, Jesus, dude, Jesus fucking Christ. I gotta take a deep breath here. I gotta check myself, check my emotions. This is my guy we're talking about here. This is my guy. I don't do emotional investments with fighters often. Max Holloway is the exception to that rule. Like, if this was 1980s pro wrestling, Max Holloway is my Hulk Hogan. Like, this is my fucking guy. Being objective though, and unbiased, analytical hat on, poop boom. You guys all made really good points. I liked what Dave said when he said that Max has fought guys like this before. He's fought power punchers like this before. I like the points that Austin made when he was just mentioning the length and the size of Holloway and the possibility that Ilya could struggle with a guy like that. I also like the mention of how the win over Volkanovski really wasn't all that impressive. I mean, the circumstances surrounding it, and then the performance of Volkanovski himself in the fight. He was making some bad decisions, decisions that I don't think Max is going to make. Max is as sharp and on point as ever right now. His stock is through the roof. There's never been a better time for him to swoop in and reclaim his spot as the king of featherweight, reclaim his title. 32 years old, you know, in my opinion, that's still your fighting prime. He has a lot of miles on the tires, a lot of miles on the treads, but he's got a lot to give still. I don't see Max as somebody who has reached their upper bound limits, to steal a Luke Thomas term, or somebody who has expelled all that the greatness that they have within him. I think the guy is still reaching new levels and reaching new heights and still climbing in his career. I feel like he's still got things to prove despite having a Hall of Fame resume and list of achievements already. Topuria is fucking good. He's really good. He's young, he's fast, he's strong, he's got great boxing, he has great jiu-jitsu. He is the new age of mixed martial arts. He's well-rounded in every way you can break it down. But I just feel like Max, he's been here before. He's seen this before. Ilya's still unproven. He still hasn't faced somebody who isn't coming off of devastating, career-altering losses, who is at this level and this caliber. And I don't know, man. I think that this is kind of the perfect storm where you have so many people on the Ilya hype train because of what he has managed to accomplish in this short time, and they're coming up against a brick wall in Max Holloway, who has been there and done that, and he's at another level. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Max in this one. I don't know if he's necessarily gonna finish Ilya. I think it's probably going to go all 5. And I think that's to Max's benefit. I think the championship rounds are going to be the rounds where he shines. So, yeah, give me Max Holloway. I'm going to say unanimous, but we could go to a split. So that is my official pick. All right. And with that, does anybody else got anything that we didn't get to that they wanted to bring up, or?
I don't think so.
Nothing at the moment. No.
I didn't think so.
Every bull has its matador. Remember that.
This is true.
Watch yourself, Mouse.
Drinky Mouse is a spicy mouse.
Dave likes Drinky Mouse.
Yes, I do very much.
Well, fucking A, gang. That is all fights on this here main card for UFC 308, all broken down and sorted like a big bag of sticky buds. No seeds and minimal stems. Other than that prick Craig, I'm sure he's around here somewhere, and he's pretty stemmy. He's always poking in where he doesn't belong. Fuck you, Craig. That's for old time's sake.
You've been replaced.
Anyways,
But
we
not
hope
forgotten.
y'all enjoyed. What's that now?
I said, but not forgotten.
Oh, there he is. Fuck you, Craig. All right. We hope you all enjoyed the predictions here. As always, if you tail any of us in betting with actual cash, we are not responsible for your financial losses. Should you win, though, hey, make sure to tell us in the comments. We're here every week with free content, so do us a favor and hit the like and subscribe buttons on your way out. But for now, we got to get the fuck out of here. We'll see y'all back here next Sunday after the fights. Say goodbye, dudes.
Hi, everyone. See you
Later.
for 308.
Goodbye.
Abu Dhabi, here we come.
I don't know what else could go wrong, but I just had a flock of geese fly overhead.
No. Don't tell me we have to re-record. What do we do, Dave?
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Scraps is fine.